Guys, remember how I told you how David Rockefeller was in my head walking me around Cochise County when I was having difficult times with Amy's being sexually predicated on and abused by the military and her getting pregnant and me having to go to different charities and stuff to try to get help with her medical benefits and the baby and Georgiev trying to talk her into aborting the baby, and all these hypocrite groups trying to act like they were keeping the baby safe and saving the baby from abortion, like the Mormon Church. And Rockefeller's like, yeah, but little girls get raped to death in Mexico. It's part of their business, but they don't want Crumb to get aborted after one of their military operatives had sex with their wife, and she's going to give birth to that kid. And you're like, wow, that is pretty bad. And the only one trying to stop the kid from being aborted or having health care benefits so he's born healthy is you. Yeah, I get it. He would talk me through this. You go to Catholic services, they make you feel bad. You go to Salvation Army, it's all tax write-offs, and they have kids with disabilities and Down syndrome, and they treat them like shit. And the rich people that all donate to these charities write it off on their taxes, and you're just, fuck. He kept walking me around. And gosh bless him, he would not shut up. He just kept telling me how horrible you all are, how terrible and disgusting, and how you'll keep doing stuff for scams to outsmart each other and feel better outsmarting each other than stand up for the Lord's Prayer with Earl. Because I said that before I was going around doing all this stuff when Obama got elected, and I stepped up online to try to protect Obama from people that were putting stuff online to say that, he'll end up being killed or, shot or murdered because he's so liberal and almost communistic and the first black president who's going to try to destroy democracy, and all this stuff. And so, shit, it's really hard, and you're going through all this stuff, and you're making yourself as available as you possibly can because you are the guy, and everybody that has half a brain. So if you have half a brain and doesn't like pina coladas and having sex in the dunes of the Cape because you don't want to get sand in the whoopee, and is into health food, and I like yogurt, but I don't like champagne because it pickles the liver, kills the brain cells, and makes you do things sexually that you probably wouldn't regularly do if you're sober. And so if you like pina coladas, him. I don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't have to worry about that song either. But so I do like them both, but I like the him better than the pina colada song. But fuck a duck a duck, deek duck 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 duck, and then take into account my hometown, where I was, and El Paso, Texas, right? You have a guy that stands up to stop all the mass genocide operations in minority towns where people are put into, and stuff. And instead of you guys getting up and joining me, you get jobs that apply more business to the airport, where my in-laws die from diabetes and cancer from having to live next to the airport because it's bad real estate, but that's all they can afford to live in. And you got James Tallarico on TV saying, I fight corruption everywhere. Yeah, you make sure that they have cheap insulin to survive comfortably being murdered by corporate greed and genocide operations near the airport in El Paso, Dallas, Houston, and there's more than one airport in Houston and more than one airport in the Dallas area. Only one airport in El Paso. In case any of you guys dying from living next to the airport from jet fuel wanted to know, is that Keanu Reeves with Sandra Bullock, who's good in everything, circling the airport runways? With all our heroes ready to defuse the bombs? And then you sit there and you watch these commercials. I reach out to people and try to connect to them, but they don't pay any attention. If they pay any attention and they know I exist but act like they don't exist, says they should know I exist, because people from the news channels in El Paso did leave me on the cutting room floor saying, hey, maybe Paul McCartney should stand up for the Lord's Prayer of me instead of come down here, throw a free concert to pay make-believe money to slumlords, right? And then you got the commercials, yo, peloton, ton. Hey, that's a woman who got her body from a guy named Gonzalez, who's a plastic surgeon in El Paso, that sits there and says, come and get beautiful. Some of your health care will cover it. And if it doesn't, we only want to cater to the rich people so they can feel beautiful by surgically altering their bodies to make other people feel inferior. Joe Peloton, ton. And then you get all these people on TV on SportsCenter and say, well, the only thing to do during COVID was Peloton, and watch Kat cat's mom die, and a lot of his family members and cousins that, had trouble Pelotoning because living next to the airports and, maybe living in places like Flint, Michigan, where the water's just wonderful, like our Sarco stacks in El Paso. And so, and you get all these people on there making commercials in your maximum pumpitude to pump up your bank account instead of stand up for Parsons and say, hey, what happened? My son died from cancer. I'd like to create a charity and create a GoFundMe page so I can have a tax shelter to maintain my stock portfolio. Get out of here. No. And it was Jesus who told me, because Rockefellers just said, okay, and let me go. And Jesus told me, I'm watching the things on that. They're getting justice. Earl. They're excited that they won the criminal case because they're going to make a lot of money off of the civil case. And I'm like, where's the money going to come from? It's civil case, Earl. Oh, civil unrest. Oh, so the Metroplex has to pay the $1 million that she's suing from the guy who committed the crime. Yes, the Metroplex has to pay for it. They don't tell you that, but it does. But the money's not real, but it stimulates the local economy. So people can tell you about their amazing indigenous culture at their casino. Right, tell me you'll fuck me for 1,000,000 years. And if it don't work out, then we'll just go mass murder a wagon train and say we were innocent victims and we never killed anybody. It was all the white people. Yo, Peloton, get in great shape so you can come back one of the best fuckers once we get back to business as usual and auto racing and killing people with auto racing and stupid ass commercials when we're back to normal after COVID. Wow. Believe it or not. Yeah, and so AI, it is artificial and it's not intelligence. Just because you label a unicorn and a dragon reality doesn't mean that your artificial manipulation with technology is intelligence. Rent a car, go to the airport, kill people, make sure they have cheap insulin to feel better. And then you get people on TV. You have these people, they're excited. The gays have showed up in the advertising industry. You too can take drugs to prep yourself to fuck each other to death. You too now have joined Richard Milhouse Nixon, Henry Kissinger, and Nelson Rockefeller, and making lots of money to start a nonprofit organization as a tax shelter so you can keep making more and more money the older you get because you use it as a tax shelter. So if you take your salary from pro sports and donate it to charity and then build a tax shelter, a charity out of it, oh, how Salvation Army of your Catholic Social Services. Joe Peloton, and then you get girls over there. That old man talked about me and how he finds me sexually attractive. That old pervert that talks that way about what happened with his beautiful stepdaughter. He finds me physically attractive. I thought I did. Now, you took a big contract with the people that mass murdered all the girls I tried to save from being raped to death in Mexico and broke 5 federal laws in 2 minutes to point it out to President Obama. Pope Francis. It was Benedict then. It was Eggs Benedict. And then Francis replaced him because he's supposed to work better with me. And what happens? He goes to El Paso and he goes and says, bad drug dealers, bad. And the drug dealers go, okay, thanks for telling us we're bad, but don't point out anything that we're really doing wrong. And then they erect a statue to him with money they made off of raping little girls to death in Mexico. And all the politicians in Mexico and El Paso and Cruces get freebies at the brothels and freebies at the abortion clinic in Sunland Park, the abortion capital of the world. And the self-righteous capital of the world, all the Texans who say, you're going to hell if you go to Sunland Park to get a abortion from getting raped by your cousin in Dallas. Joe Peloton, Joe Peloton. And aren't the personal injury lawyer in El Paso, doesn't she have lips that make you look like she could suck a golf ball through a garden hose and probably get favorable rulings from judges that can be swayed by a blowjob? Do you think that happens? I don't think that happens. I don't think that ever happened. I don't think that could possibly happen in the United States of America when things happen behind closed doors that none of us see because they have privacy. Because your messenger is completely private and no one can gain access to it. if you're part of the Yo Peloton Club to invent and create a tax shelter out of your son dying from cancer and traveling the world talking about the sadness of it. A GoFundMe. Yeah. Just stand up for the Lord's Prayer and never kill anybody from your family with cancer again, because you like traveling and you like the attention you get from traveling, and you like all the people telling you straight up and telling you how you inspired them and their kids to create your own charity, to be on videos going, animals are great, life is great, take an old song, play it, have everybody goes, world is beautiful, animals are beautiful, people that love animals are beautiful. We have a dog Blue. We have a multi-billion-dollar industry off of feeding this food that we fed to our Blue, and we want you to feed your dog the way we fed our dog, and make us millionaires on Shark Tank, and have a complete asshole make millions of dollars off of marketing and selling it wrapped in plastic. And Earl and his dog, he didn't take good care of my dog. No, I just fed Zeke people food as much as I could, and made sure that the people food was properly seasoned so he could have a garlic burger with bacon and cheese like us. Because if I didn't provide the things he wanted, like if I ran out of Parmesan, you're trying to kill me? I spoiled the hell out of that dog. But yeah, when we were working on the roof, I put him out on the patio. It's nice. It's like 70 degrees and it's cooler in the shade. But he wanted to be inside. Yelp! They're trying to kill me. And me and Dad are up on the working on the roof. It's like, seriously? You can hear us up on the roof, would you? But he's got to be inside on the carpet. What happened to the carpet? The carpet. The carpet. Oh. But guys, don't worry about a thing. Everybody's got a thing, but some they don't know how to handle it, right? I'm very fluent in Spanish. Todoms Chevrolet. Okay. And if you get in trouble driving your Chevrolet, I got some lawyers that will hook you up. Good call. That if you get busted up real bad, riding your bike, looking at a patient of Dr. Gonzalez to appear sexier than other women in El Paso that can't afford Dr. Gonzalez because her husband doesn't get kickbacks from the freebies of the abortion clinics in the casinos and at the Indian reservations and Sunland Park racetrack. Wow, you guys are horrible, man. Do you see what David Rockefeller and Philip Rothschild hated you and called you Satan's spawn and the devil, and that you would never change and you were the most disgusting people in the history of the world? That you would have the capacity to have someone like Jesus placed before you be thrown into the worst bowels of hell ever invented by human beings. Resist all the temptations to rule that hell offered to him numerous times. Be a financial advisor to the wealthy. Join our business and you join the club, and you too can, and I don't want to see the Epstein files. I just want to live the Lord's Prayer so we never have Epstein files again. Okay, Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen? Okay, hey, I'm the brown girl with David Muir going, show up next week. Come on back, y'all. You hear? Now it's time to say goodbye to the genocidal operators and all their kin. They would like to thank you all for kindly dropping in. You're all invited next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of our dysfunctionality. Mass murder, that is. Write it off on your taxes. Build a tax-free shelter and a GoFundMe page for my son was a drug addict and died from prescription drugs, and now I've started a GoFundMe page and I'm a multimillionaire with a tax shelter that I can pass on to my rotten lover who I signed a contract with, and they don't get any of the money if I end up dying from any kind of foul play. You guys are so sweet, man. Do you know Southwest flies to Hawaii now? It's an island chain in the South Pacific. It's true, man. It's an island chain in the South Pacific. That's where Hawaii is. It is not part of the continental United States, but it is part of espionage and empire building. Oh, like video games on your phone that kill your time and kill your brain cells, and drink some more yak piss because here comes the king, here comes the big number one, here comes the king, right? I'd like to buy the world a Coke and maybe some Coke so they could be a all-star catcher for the San Diego Padres. Wow. Or a shooting guard for the Suns and a point guard for the Suns. And another point guard for the Suns. Yeah, and a shooting guard for the Nuggets and the Sonics. I forgot he played for the Sonics. I forgot all about that when I was watching that. I remembered that when they had him with Gus, and me and Mom were excited. David Thompson, right? And he had that comeback year, and then he ends up getting his knee busted dancing at a club. Dancing at a club, yeah. And a man named Al Capone tried to make John Gotti his own bitch, and a chicken ran him up a tree and treat him, don't you see, the night the chicken shack was the place that we all got everybody to scratch our back for a tax shelter for charities. Brother, what a night the people saw. When you give charity, okay, don't make a show of it, do it in private. Keep going back on YouTube because Facebook will cut you off because you go against their community standards to make lots of money off of tax sheltering and want you to be a business advisor to the wealthy so they can justify genocide because the ends justifies the means, and these science projects are perfect and not bad or wrong in any way, shape, or form. Just live the Lord's Prayer first. If you need a science project to make sure you're not doing shit like this after I've already done everything to stop shit like this, you'll be okay. I can save you from your technology if you recognize me as being better than your technology. If you don't do that, I can't save you from your technology. It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. For stand out above the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud. Till mine is the only face you see, I'm gonna stand out till you notice me. Don't use kids in advertising. Okay, do you understand? And she's cute, but they all dumb as a box of rocks, man. They all dumb as a box of rocks. Don't use kids in advertising. I swear, don't use kids. I swear, don't use children in advertising. Because what happens to the adults affects the kids. And bad brain activity is hereditary. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My kids don't have, Patrick doesn't have bad brain activity. He's abused by people like you because he is the child of moi. You can't call constant abuse from people with technology because they're jealous of you bad brain activity. Okay. Bad brain activity is inventing technology to abuse other people that have better brain activity than you. Damn. How kripke of your winkle, loopy strings and stringy loops. Is this the part you take my heart to ripe your feet on? How certain are you? So if you imprint it on something and people read it, does that make it so? How rogue of your vehicle. Buy it. Okay, but money's not real. If you need a vehicle, we will get you a vehicle. Even the dog could figure that out. If the dog could talk, yeah. Okay, Reggie. Let's get out of here, Zeke. Zooby dooby doo. That's what I used to call him, Zooby doo. You sell your car on Carvana. And we're a grunge band from Seattle. And we don't know what we're playing. It's Banana Ball. What's that? A bunch of egomaniacs that put on a show for assholes so they can think that money's real and stimulate local economies to sell Legos. That's death and decay. Yeah, plastic. Okay, we have plenty of plastic to recycle, but not make them into psychotic comic book figures from psychotic people's imaginations to give you propaganda training that makes you think you're protecting people at Ark Asylum. Right? Right. That's just batshit crazy. I know. But does Johnny Galicki know? How about Simon? How about Jim Parsons, not to be confused with my late uncle? Huh? How about Mike? I don't know what his name is. I don't know what Mike's name is. I just know he's an actor that's been on a lot of shows. Yeah. I do know who Penny's dad is. I know that his brother was Kwai Chang Caine, and that he made movies with Tom Selleck, And then he had a pretty big selling hit in the 1970s called I'm Easy. Mm-hmm. Don't lead me on if there's no place for you to take me. If you won't give me the things you let me give the things I want to give. I can't put bars on my inside. You know, there's something I can't hide. It still hurts when I recall the times I've cried. I'm easy. I've heard it quite a bit. Yeah, I'm easy. Take my hand and pull me down. I won't put up any fight because I'm easy. Right. Don't lead me on if there's no place for you to take me. Right. If you won't take the things you make me want to give. I think that's what it says. It's been a while. I have it on my MP3. I just hadn't heard it. I'm a guitar, a good month of Sundays and a guitar go. I ain't had that. I heard that in good months of Sundays and guitar go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do like that song. It's one of my favorites. I think I got every song off of Johnny Rodriguez's first 3 albums on my MP3, which is a good thing. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Some I didn't think I want to put on there, but then I heard them. I think I've got those Aiken Bulger City Backyard Blues. I think I've got that one. I'll have to go look it up, but I think I might. I think I put them all on there. Because I was like, well, Music City Band wasn't one of my favorites, and I put Music City Band on there. I was like, I really like that song. La-di-da-di-dum, la-di. No, we didn't make it, but we had a good time trying, right? What was the other one? The good Lord knows I tried. No, I couldn't please you, but the good Lord knows I tried. That's a good one, too. Yeah, good old Johnny Rodriguez. Okay, guys. It sucks being stupid, doesn't it? I imagine it's probably even worse in the 21st century when David Rockefeller has equipment to collect all the evidence of your sin, and everybody knows exactly who you are and exactly what you did and why you did it. Because, the guys that Jesus ran out of Solomon's temple and then came back a week later and were shitty to him and mocked him and publicly torture him, beat the shit out of him, and dressed him in a purple robe. Nobody knows their names. Nobody has video collected evidence of that they were enjoying what they did because they were such fucking assholes and they would not listen to Jesus. But they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was, I'm not Vincent van Gogh. I'm not going to shoot myself in the penis because I enjoyed having sex with my exes, but we couldn't enjoy it because, Vincent van Gogh didn't have NASA, Homeland Security, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Cheneys, the Bushes, and all the rest of those losers, watching to see when he was going to fuck up, when he was going to go for it, have Stephen Hawking trying to talk him into it because he was taking pity on Stephen Hawking because Hawking was not a very good jock. Hawking thought he was more intelligent than me, talked to me and found out that I made him look like he was the stupidest fucking person with a theory that ever rolled around in a wheelchair because he caused the conditions for him rolling around in his wheelchair and the toxic environment and his body not having the ability to survive the toxic environment that he participated in inventing through his denial of living the Lord's Prayer through his relatives all those years ago. And it makes sense, right? Ask Zach. Yeah, he's on Dairy Queen commercials. You work for Dairy Queen? Remember Natalie? The thing about Will Smith? She's like, are you going to get him? But does Andrew Womack, can Andrew Womack take us to Disneyland? She goes, are you going to get to meet Will Smith? I was like, what Will Smith do for you except piss poor propaganda movies and piss poor hip hop? Right? The kids at Dairy Queen laughed. I go, the kids here at Dairy Queen, are working their butts off to pay their, their extortion here and making sure that the ice cream that you like is just the way you like it. Don't you think these people are being more important to your life right now than Will Smith ever will be? Right? La-di-da-di-dum, la-di-da-di-dum. What's the name of that song? Right? So, Earl is, man, yeah. Do you see why I'm considered one of the greatest teachers and poets throughout the history of time in eternal spirit? You don't think so? What you talking about, Willis? No, I don't take credit for anything that makes lots of money and has no idea what's whack and what's dope. No. Even when Keith, you messed up lyrics. They're the lyrics you wrote down, not me. And I'm sorry I messed them up, but I don't have them committed to memory. I didn't have the Lord's Prayer committed to memory because I didn't think I had to, because I always knew, Mom always told me that, Earl, there's no money in that. Mom, I'm not interested in making money. I'm just interested in being good and doing good and just loving and being loved. I'm not interested in being successful with their money. I just want to be free for, like when that Oprah thing, they sit there and I wrote something down and I sat and I thought about it and I wrote, okay, you're a successful author, you're financially independent, and your time is your own. And that's what I wrote down. You're a successful author, you're financially independent, which is independent from any financial worries and abuse, and your time is your own. And who could wish for more than that? Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. They wrote it down. When it's lived, it's successful, independent from debt and trespass, and your time, the gift of grace, can no longer be stolen by the community's lack of standards at Facebook. There's a message on your messenger, and you don't need it crypted or coded to get out of your crypto card. Bit your coin. Hey, we're in a neighborhood in Michigan, because nobody gives a shit about poor people in Michigan. When you watch that, it's like they'll be fortunate. They'll pay them more than what the house is worth. They can go live in a tiny home off the grid and die isolated and saying it was the best move they ever made. They had quality time with animals that they got along better with than their own neighbors. That's what they're doing right now in Michigan. I know how the people in Michigan work. Or don't work. They don't work, but they think they're working, but they really don't. Well, they're the automobile industry, and they're batshit crazy, but they don't think they're batshit crazy, because what happens to the kids happens to the parents, and life's eternal, grace is infinite. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes there to hours? The searchers all say they would have made Whitefish Bay if they'd left 15 more miles behind it. There. Okay? Understand? True TV. TNT Sports. Discover the new game of Command Your Dragon. Build your kingdom. Practice being a complete dumbass. Is that the little girl who he likes her sleeves? Because I like her. You guys put her on that stupid show if that's her. That's really going to make me grumpy. Because I liked her in Karina, and I adored her in Karina, and I also adored her in because that's a cute movie. It really is. It's dumb as hell. It is dumb as hell. The kids at NSI adored it. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say. I know they don't mean what I planned them to be, but if you wait around a while, I'll make it up to you. I promise you I will. If you're in doubt, or if you're in danger, take a look all around. I'll always be there. I'll be the perfect example of a father who's not a pimp daddy stranger. I won't pimp mom to pay my bills. In Kansas City at the corner of 12th Street and Vine, like Lawrence Watkins. And then it was all what a bitch his mother-in-law was. And after he told me, she said I sexually abused the kids and had me locked up, and she made it, it didn't happen. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. And I believe him. I don't think it did happen. But then he told me what he did with her daughter in Kansas City. And I sat there and said, oh yeah, you did sexually abuse the children. You sexually abused her daughter. And she may have made up another story about it affecting the kids, but when your mom's prostituted to pay the bills in Kansas City, that's sexual abuse of the kids too. So she nailed you to the fucking wall, so you had to suck other men's dicks to keep yourself from getting fucked in the ass, which she probably didn't stop. But I seriously doubt if he could stop it, because they like doing that. Makes them feel powerful. They like fucking other men in the ass when kids are sexually abused because they won't stand up for the Lord's Prayer, and they make money for charities after they're dead through computer-generated images, right? I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say. I know they don't say things the way they plan them to be, but if you wait around a while, I'll make it up to you. I promise you, I will. Okay. Don't promise me anything. Just do that which is right. Okay? When I give you perfect words to live by, I get sick and tired of coming here every day to have to fix your technology to get the technology to help me help you live it. I'm going to be so happy all on that day when I fix your technology and I can go smile a lot in the Gila and don't have to say a damn thing, because everything that was said is being done because it's the right thing to say and do, right? No more old marketing off of crazy, stupid shit from people that try to remove the word God, faith, truth, and religion from their politics because they think technology is going to kill all the people that misuse the word God, faith, truth, and religion in their politics. Okay? The only good liar is a dead liar. Right? So kill the liar in your head so you can free the soul from your head. And if you can't do that, I can use technology to protect you from technology, but I can't protect you from yourself, right? I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking of the right words to say, right? Yo, peloton. Don't talk about the only thing good to do during COVID was to keep yourself in shape with a piece of equipment to keep billionaires, okay? The only good thing that happened during COVID was Earl was on this phone kicking your faith-forsaken ass every day he could because he's absolutely freaking beautiful. Right? Kat's mom won't be murdered in the future because she doesn't fit into your new world order, because she's just not healthy enough physically to survive your unhealthy soul traps, right? Right. You know me and my big man. You know how I am. You know, Earl. He's the best point guard you ever played with. He drops perfect dimes. His shot is so soft. It's incredible. And if he misses where you can't get to it, he's going to be following his shot and he's going to put it back. It's just Earl's just playing with him. He's the best point guard ever. I agree with Charlie Robinson and Franz Conway, and Gerald said the same thing because he's, so yeah, all my bigs. Chuck Valley, yeah. George knew I was good. The church just wouldn't let him win and go to Salt Lake because me and Paul weren't part of, was it Paul or George Lopez? Either Paul or George. We weren't, one was Catholic and one was Eckankar, so we couldn't represent the Mormon church according to the Quorum of the 12. And I think the main thing was they didn't want me to get offered a scholarship to Southern Idaho because I turned down Rick's because I wouldn't cut my hair and be told what to do by a bunch of racial supremacists ever again. You did it when you were married to Amy. That was to help Amy have good people around that were good kids, because you've never met better girls than Sister Stott and Sister Phelps. What's the problem? The men in their family. They're espionage business partners with people that watch little girls and get sexually abused and affect their mothers and don't do anything to stop it. They're going to create a tax shelter for a tax-free organization and a nonprofit. Okay. Prophet, huh? I'm the prophet. You're the prophet. Don't fit being a pro. You know what the first profession is. And a pimp would sell his own ass and suck dick for cigarettes if he couldn't sell his wife in the streets of Kansas City, right? Peace.